This is a celebration of our Bike of the Year 2023. So what criteria can we judge a bike with such high accolade? Well, first of all, I think we need to celebrate a design that makes a big step change from its previous model to its new model, something the designers really had to think hard and deep about, getting up to speed and even overtaking the competition. The bike needs to be a race-winning pedigree and delivers the non-professional rider an exciting and confident bike at the same time. And for us here at Mapdeck, one of the key criteria is it has to look as good on the inside and be a significantly high quality when you look closely as it does on the outside. And I can only think of one bike this year that ticks all of those boxes, and it is the new look 795 blade. I know that we have covered this before, but this is going to be a glorious celebration of just the quality of this bike. If you just sit back, enjoy this run through and cinematographic experience of this beautiful bike. So remember, this bike was built for this new modern era, trying to blend aerodynamics, lightweight and stiffness into one complete package. And from the outset, this bike was all about integration, trying to tidy up all of those cables and give you as much flexibility as possible in your ride position. How the handlebars are all integrated and connect together is just an absolute work of art. Every single piece of this separate stem and handlebar slots together absolutely beautifully. The attention to detail and how they're finished, there's no jamming it into position or wiggling it tight. It just fits flush. Absolutely stunning. All the titanium hardware specially made for this bike, and it just all slots together absolutely perfectly. It's an absolute joy to work on. It's so nice. And just talking about some of the design philosophy on this as well, when you really look at how the curves have been built into the design, the bottom bracket area is more like a sculpted piece of art. It just flows absolutely beautiful. It just looks fast everywhere you look. And I like this bike because as a mechanic, where we're taking things apart and looking at the detail, it's one of those things that the more you look, the closer you get, the better and better it gets. There's little details that just make you smile. You take the rear wheel out and you just see how well finished those axle dropouts are. You take the headset out and you feel the steerer tube, but it's been finished beautifully. It's one of those bikes that the more you get intimate with it almost, the more interesting and high quality it becomes to you. Now, I mentioned the massive step change in design philosophy. The previous generation 795 blade was always a stunning looking bike. I loved how the down tube and the chain stays were sort of parallel to each other. It just looked like a really sharp design. But the difference between the older RS blade and the new one is massive. This isn't like specialized, upgraded from the SL7 to the SL8. This is a big step change. This is something where a designer took a blank sheet of paper and said, from here on in, we need the best bike. We need to be a race winner and be absolutely at the top of the pile, no questions. What's really surprising about this bike, you'd expect it to come with an astronomical price tag. And yet if you'd really drill down into the details and pick up a frame only, which comes with a seat post, handlebar and a stem, start adding in an Ultegra group set, for instance, like this, start adding in your wheels, sounds astronomically expensive at £8,900, but compare that to its competition. and this bike has value in spades. In fact, when we do talk about the bike in its entirety and the relationship between the Karima wheels and the Look bicycles these days, this adds another little element because you're getting a very high quality wheel set. You compare this to the competition where you might see a much more standard run-of-the-mill wheel set attached, and now we have the Karima wheels hand-built in France with that foam core, remember, standardized spokes, those beautifully smooth hubs. You've really struggled to find a bike at this level fitted as stock with a set of wheels that good. So yes, I know it's expensive, but everything at the absolute top of the tree of any sport comes with a high price tag. And what's lovely about this is it really sets a benchmark. It shows other brands what can be achieved, the quality that we want of all that finishing, and we want to be able to see the value. We want to be able to look at our bike, and every single time we undo a bolt or take a wheel out, we want to see where that money was spent. We want to see the quality, feel it, and I think this bike delivers that. What do you guys think?